Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining me on a very special edition of Shaking Things Up with me, Mark Addison. Today we're going to be revealing the 3 finalists in the Quarantini Challenge Cocktail Contest, and we have not one but 2 special guests today, my fellow judges in the contest, Chef Will Dodson and Marie Delaney. So at the end of this video, we're going to each be sharing one of the finalist cocktails and shaking them up for you. And at the very end, we're going to make the very difficult decision on choosing which of the 3 finalists is going to win the very first and hopefully last Quarantini Challenge Cocktail Contest. So stay tuned. So now it is time to shake things up. So last month we asked the question, how do you quarantini? And we challenged you to come up with a Quarantini cocktail with whatever you had at home. And wow, so many of you answered the challenge and created so wonderful, creative cocktails, posted them online, and shared them with the world. Thank you to everyone who submitted their Quarantini cocktail. And stay tuned to Instagram stories and Facebook at Cocktail Chameleon, where we'll be posting all of the submissions. But today we're going to be mixing up 3 of the finalist cocktails with our 2 judges, Chef Will Dodson and Marie Delaney. If you want to watch my Quarantini Challenge video, The Lady Marmalade, I'll put a link in the description below. And stay tuned to the end of this video when we reveal who the winner of the Quarantini Challenge Cocktail Contest. Now let's meet the judges. So first we have Chef Will Dodson. He is a CIA-trained chef, a tequila master, and owner of the historic 1796 Barnard Inn and Max's Tavern. Welcome, Will.
Great to see you today, Mark.
So, Will, where are you joining us from today?
So today we're at Max's Tavern, standing behind the bar here, our 802 bar, and that's located in the Barnard Inn restaurant right here in Barnard, Vermont.
So let's get to the task at hand. Which of the finalists of the Quarantini Challenge Cocktail Contest are you going to present today?
Today I'm presenting a watermelon popsicle margarita submitted by Carolyn. So it's a really simple, wonderful dish that takes you back to your childhood with popsicles in summertime. I'm serving it in a mason jar, but you can use a pint glass if you don't have a mason jar. The first step to making the watermelon popsicle margarita is to make the watermelon popsicles. So essentially, you take some fresh watermelon, cube it up, add 4 to 5 tablespoons of agave nectar, and we're going to use just about 1/4 of a small mini watermelon. And then about 1.5 ounces of tequila. Put that all in the blender and pour it in your popsicle molds, and then put it in the freezer and let it freeze for about 4 hours at least, or overnight. Now I found that when making this, you really want to make as much as you possibly can, because the watermelon tequila popsicles on their own are absolutely delicious. So for the ingredients for the rest of the drink, I'll go through real quickly. We're using Milagro Añejo tequila. And I like this tequila because it is an añejo and it's aged, it's 14 to 24 months in French oak. So it's very smooth. It has a slight pepperiness on the end, but you can still taste the agave fruit. We have fresh watermelon juice, which is just watermelon that's been put in a blender and then strained. It has this beautiful red color, very fresh and delicious. And for our orange liqueur, we're using Grand Marnier, which is an all-natural drink. It's a cognac and a fresh orange liqueur blended together. And then we have agave nectar. For the rim of the drink, we're using pink Himalayan sea salt. And since I didn't have any, I had a Himalayan sea salt shot glass, and I just grated it and then put that on the rim of my glass. So to make the cocktail, it's really simple. It's a margarita recipe. So you start with a glass of ice with about 1 ounce of fresh lime juice. Calls for 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces of tequila. So a little more tequila is good. 1 ounce of Grand Marnier or orange flavored liqueur. A little bit of the agave right in there. And then your watermelon. So you put that together. Shake it up till it's real cold. with the glass. So here's my watermelon popsicle. I had push pops, so unfortunately, it's not on a stick, but that's what we're using today. You then strain your margarita into the glass. You can either leave the ice or go without the ice. It's up to you. We're garnishing it today with a wedge of fresh watermelon, some lime, and of course we're using metal straws. And voila, there you have it. Watermelon popsicle margarita.
So next we have Marie Delaney. She is a creative director, a gin guru, and the co-founder of the Silo Distillery in Windsor, Vermont. Hey, how are you doing?
How are you doing, Mark, on this wonderful day?
Great. It is such a beautiful day here in Vermont. Spring has finally sprung. So tell us where you're joining from.
So I'm here at the distillery, Silo Distillery in Windsor, Vermont.
So let's get to the task at hand. Which of the Quarantini Challenge cocktail contest finalists are you going to present today?
So I have Jonathan's QUARAN-TWANY, and I'm going to make it for you now. So it's 2 ounces of, and I'm using Silo bourbon. So 2 ounces of Silo bourbon, half an ounce of Tawny port that I got in Portugal last year, a few shapes of chocolate bitters and Angostura bitters, just a little shake. And then gently roll the cocktail backwards and forwards. So here's my glass. I know that Jonathan used a martini glass, but I'm using a very pretty coupe glass. And I cheated by preparing my garnish beforehand. So a little orange peel rose with a chocolate dipped dark cherry in the middle. So this is Jonathan's QUARAN-TWANY. Enjoy.
Thanks, Will and Emery. Those both look absolutely delicious. So now I'm going to present the third finalist in the Quarantini Challenge cocktail contest. It's called the PLUM Fiction, and it comes to us from Darkisha. So the PLUM Fiction starts with infusing gin with plums, and Darkisha instructed me to infuse both red and black plums in about a half a bottle, or a half a 750 milliliter bottle of gin, and today I'm using Silo gin. And we let it sit for at least 48 hours, up to 1 to 2 weeks. So this has been sitting for 48 hours and has a beautiful red plummy color. And the result is this gorgeous plum infused gin. Now, to make our cocktail, we're going to take some ice and put it into our mixing glass. And to that, I'm going to add 2.5 ounces of our plum infused Silo gin. So this is a martini style Quarantini. So that means it's going to be served straight up. And I'm going to be shaking this vigorously so that it really chills down really well. And when we serve it into our cocktail glass, it'll be nice and icy and frothy. So to that, we're going to add some simple syrup. And Darkisha made simple syrup with turbinado sugar, which is here is the brown or sugar in the raw. So you can also use some plain simple syrup. And simple syrup is very simple. It's 1 part sugar to 1 part water, which you can make at home. Just dissolve the water, the sugar in warm water over the stove. So we're going to be adding a half an ounce of the turbinado simple syrup. And we're also going to be adding a ½ ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice. So I always recommend you use fresh squeezed juice wherever possible, whenever possible. It makes such a huge difference in the taste and balance of the cocktails. And then we're going to be adding a ½ ounce of elderflower liqueur. Elderflower liqueur is made from elderflowers, so it has a nice sweet floral flavor, which I suspect is going to work very well with the plums. So we're going to take the contents of our mixing glass and we're going to pour them into our shaking tin and give a little tap for a nice solid seal and give it a good shake. So as I said, this is going to be served straight up. We're going to strain it into a cocktail glass. So we're going to make sure this is nice and frothy and cold. And I think that should do it. You just give it a little bit of a tap to release the glass, and we're going to pour the contents back into our mixing glass because that's the fun of creating a cocktail. You get to see all these beautiful colors. And then we're going to prepare our glass. So I'm going to take a little bit of our turbinado simple syrup and put it onto a shallow dish. And I'm going to just gently roll the rim of the glass, half of the rim of the glass, in the turbinado sugar, simple syrup, and then I'm going to dredge it in my turbinado sugar to give a nice pretty sugar in the raw garnish. And we just want half of the glass because, you know, some people like the sweetness of the turbinado sugar and want just a little taste of it, so it's nice to do a half a glass for your guests who might not enjoy the sweetness. So we're going to strain the contents of our mixing glass into our martini glass. Wow, that looks absolutely stunning. That ruby red color is so beautiful. And to garnish, I just took some lemon peel and I curled them up into little coils and put them on a skewer, and I wanted it to look a little bit like the plum blossoms that are up in the orchard right now. And here we have the beautiful Plum Fiction Quarantini cocktail by Darkisha. So here we have our 3 Quarantini Challenge Cocktail Contest finalists. We have the Plum Fiction from Darkisha, we have the Watermelon Popsicle Margarita from Carolyn, and we have the QUARAN-TWANY from Jonathan. Now that's quite a tongue twister there. So now Will, which is your favorite cocktail, and most importantly, which would you serve at Barnard and Max's Tavern?
Well, I got to say, Mark, there's a lot of the difference between these cocktails, the whole spectrum here. And I liked all of them. I think the QUARAN-TWANY is something that I would, have late night, after dinner maybe. It's more of a serious cocktail. I liked the Plumtini. I liked it very much. But I have to say, as far as, what really struck me with passion-wise and flavor and balance and just overall, just a great cocktail made in a quarantine situation, the Popsicle Margarita, Watermelon Popsicle Margarita, hands down, my top pick. Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Will. So let's go to Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, same question. Which is your favorite Quarantini Challenge cocktail, and which would you serve at the tasting room in Silo Distillery?
So, as Will said, there are completely different cocktails for all kinds of occasions and all kinds of times. Being the gin guru that I am, I choose the Plum Fiction. And I would love to serve it here in the tasting room at Silo Distillery.
Well, thanks to Anne-Marie and Will. It looks like we have a bit of a tie, and if I have to call the tiebreaker, I really can't. I think they're all 3 winners. I love the ingenuity of infusing your own gin with fresh plums in the Plum Fiction. I think the Watermelon Popsicle Margarita is a double winner because the popsicle itself is a home run, and it's a double feature in my opinion. And I think it's perfect for summer. And I love the creativity and ingenuity in the QUARAN-TAWNY. The name alone is a great tongue twister, and the addition of chocolate bitters and Angostura bitters with tawny port and bourbon, that's a flavor profile that is just so near and dear to my heart. So I'm going to call it. We have 2 grand prize winners, and the Plum Fiction is going to be served at Silo Distillery. The Watermelon Popsicle Margarita is going to be served at the Barnard Inn. And I'm awarding Most Creative Quarantini name to the QUARAN-TWANY. So there we have it, our 3 Quarantini Cocktail Challenge contest winners. And hopefully this is the last Quarantini cocktail challenge we have, but I look forward to mixing up more cocktails with you in the future. And I want to give a huge thanks to everyone who submitted their cocktails, as well as a huge thanks to our other judges, Anne-Marie and Will, for going on this ride with me. And I look forward to shaking up things with you again on the next episode of Shaking Things Up with Mark Addison. Cheers.
Thank you, Quarantini Challenge. Signing off from Max's Tavern, the Bar and Inn Restaurant, Max's Tavern. You can find us on the web. I'm going to go enjoy this watermelon popsicle margarita, and you can get some watermelon tequila popsicles curbside. Pick them up Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Cheers.
It's been fun, a lot of fun. The cocktails were wonderful. I'm sad to leave you. It's been a great experience. Hoping to see you at Silo Distillery sometime soon, perhaps the beginning of June.
Cheers. Oh, that's so good. Oh yeah, Will. I totally agree with you on this one. It's a double feature in a cocktail glass. Delicious. Yeah. Ooh, this is so good and yummy, and I agree. This is like a nice fireside cocktail. It definitely warms your heart in other places. No, sorry. God, I didn't mean to hang you guys up. You can disconnect if you want while I struggle through this. You don't have to watch the pain.
No, it's very educational.
Okay, is it? I'm glad. And they're edutaining, as someone called one of my videos. Okay. Thanks again for watching. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button down there and give us a like. Here's what's next.